Alright, today we'll take a look at how to sign up for the stock market simulator in investopedia.com. So the first thing you want to do is go to investopedia.com. The spelling's right here. When you sign up, there may be an advertisement in the top right hand corner. You can click continue to site, or you could just wait like the 10 seconds and it'll bring you to this page. So this is where we'll be going to sign up. If you look over on the right hand side, you'll see the link that says simulator, and you should click on that. It'll bring you to a stock simulator sign up. There's a few fields here: email address, username, password, and confirm password. For your email address, you're going to use your first letter last name at Cheshire K12CTUS for your email address logon. For your username, you're going to use your class number and name as well as your last name. So for example, if you're 2BD, you'll be 2BD in last name, 3BD last name, 7BD last name, or 2AC last name, 3AC last name, or 7AC last name. So for example, I'm CA Sullivan at cheshire.k12.ct.us, and I'll say I'm 2BD Sullivan. For your password, please use the password to sign on to your Chromebook. If something happens to your account, these are not real email addresses, so you won't be able to send yourself a reminder or to reset your password. You'll have to start from scratch. So make sure that your password is something that you know and use every single day. And click register. Now, if you register and for some reason you see a red exclamation point, the biggest problem is sometimes it doesn't like your email address. What I would suggest is try placing a 1 right there, or you could place a 1 right here. Again, it doesn't matter. You don't have to use your email for anything. They're not going to send you anything. So we just need to find ways around that in order to sign up. If you do have to do something different besides first letter last name, please make sure that you write that down so the next time you log on, you remember what you had to do. And we'll click register. Okay. So this happened to me. The email address is already in use. So let me go through this. And you should be good to go. So try a few things out with your username or your email if it doesn't work, and then it will bring you to a screen that looks like this. These are all advertisements. We're going to be able to skip through these by going back to the top right and clicking simulator again. When you get to this screen, you're going to look at the right hand side under the shaking hands, and we're going to find the game that we're involved in. So if you go down, there's the beginners, Warren Buffett $1 Million Challenge, Canadian game, and we're going to click view more games to find our private game. Now your screen may look a little different, might be a little more zoomed in or out, but up at the top in the middle you'll have something that says enter keyword, and what we're going to search for is Dodd space 7 space Q4, and that's for Dodd 7th grade quarter 4, and you're going to search that. Okay. Make sure it says Dodd space 7 space Q4 together. You should have the option to select this game and join it. We currently have 30 players from the other 7th grade classes that signed up yesterday. So we join, and since it is a private game, there's a password, and the password is Spartans, all lowercase. We're going to join the game. Okay. As you see here, you have your account value. You have $100,000. I'll explain buying power a little bit later, and you have your cash. The main tabs that you're going to use here are portfolio and trade. These are really the two things you want to pay attention to. Everybody likes looking at the rankings. These update once a night, so they're not going to update live. Anything you do today at 6 o'clock the next night, it will update. So portfolio, we don't have anything in there. So you see there's tutorials and different things that you could look at, but trade is the button that we want to look at. There's really only two things that you have to do to get something into the stock market game. You either need to enter the name of the company or directly the ticker symbol. So we'll use something that's very common, which is Apple. If I start typing in APPLE, okay, we see that Apple has the ticker AAPL. I'm going to click on this, and the fact that we know it's in the game is because there's a box that pops up right here. So since we see that, this is the day's change. The market's closed. Again, it's only open 9:30 to 4, Monday through Friday. The price that you care about is last. This is the price that you'll pay. So it's $130.07. Now, something that's useful for this is Show Max. If you click that button, it shows you how many shares you can buy. So it kind of gives you a range of your minimum compared to your maximum. So I see I can buy up to 384 shares. You can decide if you want to go real heavy on this stock and buy 300. If you want to just put a small part in, which would be maybe 50, I'll kind of split the difference. I'll go 150, and that's all you have to do. Okay, Apple, 150. We don't touch anything below this box, and we preview the order. Okay, this will tell you that the market's closed. That's fine. We know we could still place orders. So $130.07, 150 of them. The game takes $9.99 anytime you place an order, and that's normal. So this will cost $19,520 and 49 cents. So you can submit it, you can change it if you don't like it, it's too expensive, or you can cancel it. We're going to submit. Okay, so it looks like nothing happened. You have your trade confirmation, and it brings you to a page that has stock market activity. So this is simply a page that shows you what are things that are bought a lot on the Investopedia simulator overall, not just our game. So a couple of things we talked about in class yesterday. Take-Two Interactive Software, that's actually the company that owns Rockstar Games, that makes the Grand Theft Auto games. So that's something you might have to look into. If there's a business you like, such as ESPN, they're owned by Disney, so you would invest in Disney. If you like Instagram, they're owned by Facebook, so you would buy Facebook. So you may have to do a little research looking at companies that are owned by larger companies. Cheetah Mobile, not sure what that is. Red Robin Gourmet Burgers, something came out, they won an award for their burger, and that caused them to go up really high, $11 a share, which is a huge jump. So if I want to see what I did, I go back to my portfolio, and you'll see the stock that you just bought in this kind of weird yellowish color. It will stay like that for about 10 or 15 minutes before it actually goes into the game. If you remember, on my order ticket it said I spent $20,000, yet my account value is still $100,000, my buying power is $100,000, my cash is $100,000. This will not calculate until this goes into the game. So just be patient. It might take 15 minutes, sometimes it takes 20 minutes, but if you check during your next period class, you'll see that it will go in there and it'll start to calculate and show you how much you've made, how much you've lost for each particular stock, and your overall account value, which is useful. So again, anytime you want to buy a stock, trade, the name or the symbol, how many, preview, submit, and you use your portfolio to see how that's doing. Now the other thing that you want to do to check out charts and graphs and kind of look for, is this a good thing to invest in, is in Google Finance. So if you could Google Finance, and we'll take a look at a page that looks like this. Now there's a lot of kind of noise going on here. A lot of this stuff we don't need to know. So again, use a common stock, let's say Nike, and some pieces of information come up. Again, your screen may look different because of the different zoom, but most of the important information is right here. Okay, based on that, reading a stock table activity, don't get too caught up in the graph, because people like to make decisions based on the graph, and that happened in the past. Remember, investing in a stock is about what's going to happen in the future. So first of all, the biggest number, the big black number in the upper left hand corner, is always how much it costs for one piece of Nike. This is $104.64 for one piece. Today, it went down 11 cents. Is that a big deal? Absolutely not. Okay, it's minus not even 1%. Range. We have, as you can see, if there's anything you want to know, if you simply hold your mouse over, it will tell you exactly what it is. Range is the days range, so it was about $1 difference from 104 to 105. The year range. Now that's an important factor because you see it was all the way down at 73, and the highest it's been in the past year is $105. This is very close to its yearly high. So there's two things you could do here. Number one, you could say, this is a great stock, I think it's going to go past its yearly high, or I'm going to wait for it to be a little bit cheaper, closer to its low before I invest in it. Other interesting things, you can see how much a company is worth by market cap. Okay? If you were to write a check and want to buy the whole company of Nike, you would look at the market cap of any of these companies. So it's worth $90.6 billion. That's obviously a huge chunk of change. All this other information you don't really need to know. If you're on Nike and you see a graph that looks like this, again, pay attention. It only shows you Tuesday, Monday, and last Friday. The default view is either 3 or 5 days. You can change the zoom by clicking any of the buttons up top to see how it's doing overall. Okay, so in the past month, you can see, yeah, it's had some steady rise since last April. 6 months, okay, you'll get a lot of this up and down. That's why you want to hold on to things, because you're gonna have to ride these waves a little bit over the course of the next month or so while you're investing. Now, if you like Nike and you want to see what's like it, you can scroll down and it shows you a number of other companies that are kind of like Nike. This is the market that it's traded on. You usually want to stick with one that's NYSE or NASDAQ. That means it's kind of like a mall where you have the West Farms or you have the Meriden Mall. They do the same thing, they just have different stores. So this will give you some ideas of other companies that are similar to it, how they've done today, what's their change, how much they cost, and currency is big. Sometimes you won't see currency in US dollars, USD. That means you can't invest in it. Prime example of that is if we go to Samsung. Okay, people always flip out and they say, wait a second, Samsung's $1.3 million a share, but the currency is not in US dollars. Therefore, they don't trade on the American market, and therefore you can't invest in them. The only real rules for the stock market investopedia game is you have to make trades over $1, so you can't buy something that's 5 cents a share, and it has to be traded on the American market. So again, let's say I saw something like Chipotle, which is kind of an expensive stock, at $636, but I think it's going to do well, and I'm going to invest in it. So if you're saying that to yourself, you go back to your simulator, go to trade, CMG, it pops up, $636. How many can I afford? Again, it's super expensive. I can only afford up to 78. I'm going to buy 15. Preview. It's going to cost about $10,000. Submit. Again, this activity screen, I go back to my portfolio, and I have this other order that's in there. So again, after about 15 minutes, you'll start to see kind of some action going on, and it'll refresh every 15 minutes, recalculating. So again, the two things that you should kind of play around with today, number one, Investopedia, you definitely want to get in there, get in the game. Google Finance, this is where you're going to look everything up. Don't be afraid to Google different things like what are hot stocks right now, big gainers, big losers, and try to get some trades into the game before the end of the class period. All right.